Trey, would you want to share a little bit about what Davidson's been doing?
Sure. So we undertook the study specifically to inform a set of ordinance changes that we wanted to make to our tree ordinance. And our tree ordinance lives within what we call our planning ordinance, which is the set of rules and regulations by which development can occur in our town. And we undertook the rewrite effort and got a little ways into it, maybe a quarter to a third of the way through it, and realized we wanted to set targets for different areas of town, but we didn't have any data on which to base those decisions. And we had seen other municipalities throughout the country just, in some cases, just take a shot in the dark. And we wanted to have data-based studies informing our reasoning, informing changes that we were going to make to our ordinance out of just a spirit of doing good planning, but also in terms of legal cover and being able to ground those decisions in empirical information. And so we contacted Planet Geo to do a baseline study from 2018 that we would use going forward for future tree canopy data assessments. And then we also had Planet Geo take a look at 2009 and the aerial coverage then and the change over time. And we used the differences that we saw between that roughly 10-year set to then calibrate specific standards for different areas of town based on how much loss or gain we had seen in those parts of town.
Great, thank you. And yeah, Anne Marie, if you want to speak to this a little bit, tell us a little bit about what is going on in Richmond Hill.
So for Richmond Hill, first of all, thank you for inviting me to be on this panel. I'm excited to kind of share what we're doing up here. So we had our first UTC baseline study done in about 2010. And then we had an environment strategy action item for us to develop an urban forest management plan. Probably around 2015, 2016, that's when we first started thinking about it. And at the time we thought we better update our UTC so we have up-to-date information on how we move forward with our our goals and direction for urban forest programs. After we did our baseline, so 2010 was our baseline, in 2012, the Emerald Ash Borer hit the Greater Toronto area, including Richmond Hill, and we had huge areas where we had high levels of ash tree, and we were experiencing a lot of failure and removals. And then in 2013, we had a huge ice storm where we saw also significant tree loss very quickly over that one season. So when we were anticipating what we were going to see, we thought we were going to see quite a drop in our tree canopy. But what happened and what we saw was we went from about 25% to 29%. So we did quite a lot of change analysis because we really had to come up with an understanding and appreciation of what the differences were, especially with our decision makers, because from an outside perspective, like when trees come down just really quick, but what trees take a long time to grow, you don't see those changes as quickly. And what it showed us is that our tree planting programs were working. So in areas where we lost trees, you could see that there was the losses. And we did that map that was up earlier where we had the canopy showing. We overlaid the previous version so we could see where the losses were, but then we could also see where the gains were, where we had done a lot of valley land restoration, where we have new development coming in and lands are transferred to the city with open agricultural areas that are now deemed hazard, and we've gone in and naturalized them. We also have a large conservation area in Richmond Hill managed by the Conservation Authority, and they had done immense planting in there too. I remember talking to Jeremy from Planet Geo, and I just said, like, why, what are you seeing? Where are these trees? And he said, looks like you have these tree farms up at the northern end of the city. And I said, I know exactly where you are. When we acquired the lands, they quickly went in and did these massive tree planting with diversity by row, and they did machine planting, and we were seeing it. We didn't see it in the 2010 UTC, but we were seeing it in the 2016. And then on the flip side, what the 2016 assessment also did for us, and that we kind of sliced and diced the information differently with the help of Planet Geo, and we asked them to look at our UTC in relation to residential areas versus our greenway system. And then we also sliced it, analyzed it by land use. And so what we learned was that although our canopy cover was improving and we were doing quite well, a lot of our canopy is in areas where people don't live. So it's in the greenway system. It's in areas, so like the percent of canopy in our greenway systems and park system is high, primarily our greenway system, but in some of the residential areas, we're seeing the canopy lowering. So that's something that was really important for us to know as we develop our urban forest management plan, and we have specific action items to look at canopy cover targets by land use, as opposed to we have an overall canopy cover target that we've set for ourselves, but we're doing our official plan review at currently, and I'll be working with our planners to develop canopy cover targets by land use so that we can try and work on our a more equitable distribution of our canopy, so that the people in our neighborhoods and our communities are actually realizing the services and benefiting from the services that the trees provide. So yeah, like we've been using it in a lot of ways, and it's been impacting the work that we're doing.
Yeah, and I